right, let's roll out to Georgia and talk to the great and wonderful Matt. What's up, Matt?
Hey, John, Dr. John, how are you?
I'm partying, man. What about you?
I'm living the dream, I guess.
Man, I want to wake up from my dream sometimes. What's up, dude?
Yeah, exactly. So the question I have is the current situation between my wife and I isn't great. I'm actually about to move out into an apartment.
Okay. What happened?
So to give you some backstory, I went through a period of time where I drank too much on the weekends, basically Friday night, Saturday, Sunday.
What's a period of time?
I would say probably a year and a half, 2 years.
Just kind of out of the blue?
I would say it ramped up after I've got two daughters, 5 and 3, and I would say it ramped up after my second daughter was born.
Okay, cool.
So it was something my wife had confronted me about on more than one occasion, and it came to a head on Memorial Day. My oldest daughter, the 5-year-old, came out on the deck where I was to ask me a question and actually ended up falling through a weak part in the railing about 12 feet and landed on concrete below that.
You fell or she fell?
She fell. My daughter fell.
Okay.
So rushed to the emergency room. They did x-rays and all that, found a small fracture in her jaw. A few days later, we took her to a specialist. He said it was the best case scenario. She'd be good to go in like 3 weeks to a month. No surgeries needed. Just don't let her eat hard candy, basically, and stuff.
Yeah. Man, I'm so sorry.
After that, I appreciate it, man. It was rough.
Yeah, that's scary.
After that, my wife had told me, she's like, listen, I don't know if I'm going to be able to bounce back from this.
What did you have to do with what happened?
Well, I would say her falling could have happened with anybody being out there. The problem is that with my drinking too much, I was letting things go around the house, becoming disconnected with my wife and my kids. And even my job during the week when I didn't drink was starting to suffer some. So I put the blame on myself as far as not fixing the railing, putting it on the back burner.
But something else, hold on, something else happened that was a final straw for your wife. Were you not paying attention out there? Were you goofing off?
No, I was, but I had 2 beers at that point. And before we took my daughter to the emergency room, I told my wife I had not had any. And of course, all she's got to do is look in the trash can and see 2 beer cans. And that was what triggered her reaction more so than anything else. And
can I be honest with you? Hold on. Can I be honest with you, man? Something's not adding up to me.
Yes, sir.
If you and I are going to talk, you're going to have to be 100% open.
Well, no, and like I said, I just wasn't honest with her about when and how much I was drinking.
Yeah, but 2 beers is not, hey, we're done.
Well, I think it was more the fact that I lied to her and told her I hadn't been drinking than the amount that I had been drinking. And the fact that it happened on more than one occasion.
That you'd had 2 beers?
No. I mean, normally I would drink more than that, but I'm saying at the point when this happened, it wasn't that I had been drinking necessarily. It was I lied about the fact that I had been drinking.
Okay. I'm struggling with it, but go ahead. Continue. So she said, I can't come back from this?
She said that at that time, so I put forth a good bit of effort. I completely stopped drinking, really worked on being emotionally there for my kids and my wife and not just physically there. Started exercising again, losing some weight, all the good things that come along with lifestyle changes. Went on a family vacation, had a really good time. Skip ahead to Labor Day. I was kind of having an off weekend. We went out on a date Saturday. I wasn't really communicating with her. I was supposed to get the girls ready for church on Sunday. I didn't have them ready when it was time to leave. I could tell something was off with my wife. That night, she actually told me that she was kind of trying to make herself fall back in love with me, but it hadn't happened. She just couldn't let go of the things that had happened. And at that point, she said she thought it would be best if I found an apartment.
So be super clear with me, man. Your daughter had an accident that you had two beers. By any stretch of the imagination, you were close to intoxicated.
Right.
She fell out and got hurt.
Yes.
From that moment, your wife said, I don't think we're going to be able to come back from this. Now, you didn't tell your wife the truth about 2 beers. What were you doing those other times you were drunk? Because here's the deal. You're speaking very evasively, and you're speaking very distant from, I had a beer, and then maybe I wasn't. Your wife is preferring to be a single mom with 2 kids than be with you.
Well, the problem is that, say, for example, we get the kids ready for bed, put them in their bath, get them ready for bed and everything. I had already been drinking. So she felt like it wasn't safe to have the kids around me. And I didn't do anything violent. I wasn't abusive. I didn't black out or pass out or anything. I just basically drank more than I should have.
So you didn't hit anybody. You didn't cheat on your wife. You didn't swear at anybody.
No.
Your wife just said, I'm out.
Well, things got better for a while until, like I said, the Labor Day weekend, which is when she made that decision about, I think it'd be better if you got an apartment.
And what was her reasoning behind that?
Because in the past, she didn't trust me anymore. She didn't feel secure with me. She wasn't in love with me anymore. And to be honest, 2 weeks after that, when I had an apartment and I was getting ready to move out, we listened to a snippet from one of your shows that was kind of in the same vein as what I'm going through right now. And after we listened to it, she said, I don't want you to move out, but if you want this to work, I need these things to happen. And basically it was me being more involved in the finances, me continuing to improve my relationship with her and the girls. But unfortunately, after a couple more weeks, things hadn't really gotten any better. And the decision was made again for me to just find an apartment. And that's where we're at right now.
Okay. Have y'all gone to sit down with a professional?
Yes, we're going to couples counseling, and I'm also going individually.
Have y'all already started that, or are you going to go?
We already started the couples. Last week was my first week that I met with my therapist.
Okay. And is anything coming up in couples counseling that is an aha moment for the both of you?
No. I mean, she said some things that were kind of an aha to me, but nothing that myself or the therapist is saying have really triggered anything for her. She says that nothing's changed as far as her feelings, and she basically said there's nothing I can do, which of course there are things I could do to make the situation worse. But as far as helping her get past what she's holding on to, there's nothing I can do.
So there's a missing piece here. And I've just had this conversation too often. One of 2 things is true. Either your wife has been looking for an exit strategy for a season now, or slowly got so far away from you that she feels that she can't come back. That's number 1. Or number 2, you are using language, and anybody who's hung out with people who struggle with alcohol addiction would recognize your language, the way you're talking to me. That
right.
You aren't fully being upfront with everything. And I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. But there's either she's got some really significant challenges, or you're not being that if I were to talk to her, I'd get a very different picture of you than what I'm getting right now.
I would say if you talk to her, she would probably, I would say it's the first scenario. The distance was created by my dishonesty, basically.
Because you lied one time about having 2 beers?
No, I lied. That's what I'm saying, is I was dishonest multiple times about how much I had drank. That one particular instance was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back.
Okay. Well, here's my rule for moving out to try to get some space to see if we're going to save this thing. Is number 1, there has to be a specific time frame.
Okay.
And I usually would never recommend unless there's physical abuse that it's over 30 days. So I'm out for 30 days and we have some agreed touch points. We will talk. I will pick the girls up. We have to negotiate these rules out ahead of time. Otherwise, it's going to build resentment, frustration, anger, rage. It's going to be a false peace. So be very clear on the front end. This isn't just you out so that, it's not how that works. In 30 days, we're going to get back together and have a conversation. I strongly recommend y'all have a marriage counselor that y'all work through this thing together. And then I would ask her for a specific items, not of things you got to work on. Because what you're going to do, like any good person recovering from addiction, is you're going to make her falling back in love with you your new addiction.
Mhm.
And you're going to do a bunch of things to try to make her happy. And that's not the point. What you want to do is say, what are the things I need to do that can help you feel safe? And then I'm going to challenge you, man, to go to AA for a season.
Okay.
Go to your counseling stuff, but go to a meeting every day. Because I think
Okay.
you're going to find out about yourself.
All right.
You can't lose weight for her. You can't just stop drinking for her, because you're going to find alternative things to keep that distance from her. And it's going to, you see what I'm saying? She thinks in her mind, if he'll just quit doing X, then I'll be okay. And you quit doing X. And she's realizing, I still don't feel that same way. And here's the final thing. Y'all can't go back. What was is over. And you'll have to decide, are we going to build something new?
Right.
Do
And
you?
I've laid that out to her. I said, I'm totally in with rebuilding it with you, and she's just not in that place right now.
Okay. Well, I think it sounds like you're going willingly, right?
I mean, I don't want to do anything else that's going to possibly expedite us getting a divorce or anything. So
Okay.
I'm just trying to do what I need to do to hopefully get things going in the right direction.
All right. I want you to Google. It's Terry Real, TerryReal, Terry Real. I think it's the 10 rules of a separation.
Okay.
I want y'all to use that as a guidepost, and I want you to bring your counselor in on it also. And that's going to set the stage for this 30-day thing. We're going to take a break from each other. I'm going to start getting myself well because I'm worth being well. She is going to let some of the smoke clear from her anger, from her rage, from her not feeling safe inside her own house, and begin to write it like, here's where we're headed. Here's what I need to feel safe. Y'all gonna have some regular touch points. You're gonna be upfront and adults about with the kids, and then in 30 days, y'all are gonna circle back. And that 30-day meeting might be in a counselor's office. I can't recommend this enough that at that 30-day meeting, you each write each other a letter and read it to each other. Otherwise, it's either going to be a blubbery mess or you're going to forget stuff. But have a letter at the end of that 30-day period that you can hold and read and hand to that person when you're done. And vice versa. She's got to have one for you. And maybe it's, I need another 30 days. I need 15 more days. Or I'm not coming back. I'm going to file for divorce and I want to do this amicably. Or I'm ready to build something completely new with you. But I'm going to be super, super honest. Something in the way you're talking to me says you're not done yet. And that's, if there's one place where people will hold you accountable, it's in AA. And I would love for you to go to a meeting. And it may just be that you have 2 little daughters and you have run out of tools. I don't know how to love in my house. I don't know how to be a dad to 2 little girls. I've got to get some more tools. And so just creating space and distance, which is what alcohol gives you, which is what dishonesty gives you, which is what Netflix gives you. Just creating that space so you don't do something wrong ends up poisoning the whole house. Maybe that's what it is. And you need to learn some parenting skills, etc. But you got to repair your relationship with your wife. Or she's going to have to call it. Like she is kind of circling the wagons. It's just, it feels like it's headed that way. TerryReal.com. Pull out that checklist and go down that road. And then holler back at me after 30 days, man. I'd love to see where you're going, what you're doing. If you want to read your letter to her, I would love that. But I don't want you creating writing a 30-day screenplay so you can act as though you're the person she needs. I want you to begin to get well for you. At the end of the day, that's the only person you can take care of and control.